Michael Corleone went into the city that night. It was with a depressed spirit. He felt he was being enmeshed in the family business against his will, and he resented Sonny using him, even to answer the phone. He felt uncomfortable being on the inside of the family councils, as if he could get absolutely trusted with such secrets as murders. And now, going to see Kay, he felt guilty about her. He had never been completely honest with her about his family. He had told her about them, but always with little jokes and colorful anecdotes that made them seem more like adventurers in a technical movie than what they really were. And now, his father had been shot down in the street, and his eldest brother was making plans for murder. That was putting it plainly and simply, but that was never how he would tell it to Kay. He had already said his father was being shot was more like an accident, and all that trouble was over. Hell, it looked like it was just the beginning. Sonny and Tom were off center on this guy called Solozzo. They were still underrating him, even though Sonny was smart enough to see the daughter. Michael tried to think what the Turk might have up his sleeve. He was obviously a bold man, a clever man, a man of extraordinary force. He had to figure him to come up with a real surprise. But then Sonny and Tom and Clemenza and Desio were all agreed that everything was under control and they had all had more experience than he did. He was this civilian in this war, Michael thought wryly, and they'd have to give him a hell of a better medals than he'd gotten in World War II to make him join this one. Before we move on, I would like you guys to hit a pause and please subscribe to the channel. It's free of cost and you can always change your mind. And yes, what a way to start the BookTube journey yet again with an extract from a genre that we have already touched before, crime and drama. The very first books that we touched upon on this channel. And it's a book that revolutionized how we view organized crime and romanticized its projection. It's me, Pratushan Dilla, the co-founder of BookTube, back after a long time. I hope you are up to date with the socials. The links will be up on your screen now and also the video description. And I hope you guys are following us through this. Now let's move on to the second extract from this book. It was then that Don Corleone gave the best speech that would be long remembered, and that reaffirmed his position as the most far-seeing statesman among them. So full of common sense, so direct from the heart, and to the heart of the matter. In it, he coined a phrase that was to become as famous in its way as Churchill's Iron Curtain, though not public knowledge until more than 10 years later. For the first time, he stood up to address the council. He was short and a little thin from his illness. Perhaps the 60 years showed a bit more, but there was no question that he had regained all his former strength and had all his wits. What manner of men are we then, if we do not have a reason? He said. We are all no better than beasts in a jungle, if that were the case. But we have reason. We have reason with each other, and we can reason with ourselves. To what purpose would I start all these troubles again? The violence and the turmoil? My son is dead, and that is a misfortune and I must bear it. Not make the innocent world around me suffer with me. And so I say, I give my honor, that I will never seek vengeance. I will never seek knowledge of the deeds that have been done in the past. I will leave here with a pure heart. Let me say that we must always look to our interests. We are all men who have refused to be fools, who have refused to be puppets dancing on a string pulled by the men on high. We have been fortunate here in this country. Already most of our children have found a better life. Some of you have sons who are professors, scientists, musicians, and you are fortunate. Perhaps your grandchildren will become the new Pezzonovanti. None of us here want to see our children follow in our footsteps. It's too hard a life. They can be as others, their position and security won by our courage. I have grandchildren now, and I hope their children may someday, who knows, be a governor, a president. Nothing's impossible here in America. Nothing is. But we have to progress with the times. The time is past for guns and killings and massacres. We have to be like the business people. There's more money in it, and it's better for our children and our grandchildren. And we come to an end of this session with a speech from Don Vito Corleone, solidifying his position in the crime world and in a sense exiting it. And yes, the book is none other than The Godfather, a crime novel by the American author Mario Puzo. Originally published in 1969 by G.P. Putnam's Sons, the novel details the story of a fictional mafia family in New York City and Long Island, headed by Vito Corleone, the Godfather. The novel covers the years 1945 to 1955 and includes the backstory of Vito Corleone from early childhood to adulthood. The first in a series of novels. The Godfather is noteworthy for introducing Italian terms to an English-speaking audience. It also inspired a 1972 film of the same name, and 2 film sequels, including the new contributions by Puzo himself, were made in 1974 and 1990, winning many Academy Awards and becoming arguably the best movie, the greatest movie of all time. It's available on Amazon for a price of 250 rupees. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and thank you for sticking with me. It's been a long time, but yes, we'll be more consistent with uploads. Stay tuned and keep enjoying books. A happy week ahead from my side. Cheers and namaste.